Hi everybody, welcome to the last live stream of this Necromunda table that I'll probably be doing for a little while simply because that thing's still shaking. What is going on? I gotta change my fan maybe. I might have to zoom you out a little bit. Nobody's watching anyway, so y'all get that cool shot. Alright, bye. What up? I'll turn you a little bit more so you can actually see what you're working on. You don't need to look at my ugly face. Okay. So I do want to do a couple things. I got to play test with these two buildings last night, and there were a couple things that I would have changed or I would add to them. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. It's should be a relatively simple build, and then I was going to build some walkways too. So we're going to do that here as well. And when we played last night, there was some push this back just a little bit. So there's a platform here. So there was like a dude that came down the chain and was right here, and then this trying to get down was hard for him. He ended up like finding a spot somewhere balancing right here on this piece, and I thought that it might as well put a platform on there. So just gonna try to square it up a little bit. I would like it to fit in here a little. So. There's a ring I did that I cut off of one of these chunks of piping. In fact, I can give you a little bit better view of exactly what I'm working on. And so I'm going to build a little platform here, just to give more of a movement there. Got this piece. It's perfect. Just want to cut a little bit of that out so it slots in here. I would suggest test playing your builds, because, and it's even better if it's before you're done building, because you'll learn, where the mistakes are pretty quickly by playing across it. And I find that like small skirmish games are the best, because you can just play with this one piece. If you're playing a small skirmish game, just put this right in the center and put an objective on the middle of it, and have everyone have to try to rush it, and you'll see where all the pathways are messed up for that particular game, because elevation and movement is represented differently in all different kinds of games. So So I'm just going to cut that little piece out right there. Oh, and I was just about to say that I tried to go slow so I don't mess it up, but right when I almost opened my mouth, I messed it up, so I'm not going to say anything. So do your best, I would say. So that slot's in there. That's perfect. I think because this is a little bit wider, I think I will put like a little scaffold on it so that it seems like this is separate, like it's not sitting right on there, which I think would be cool. I'm going to make a bunch of walkways using this very technique, so we might as well just get into it right here. Pretty simple. Just going to be gluing paper straws on this corrugated plastic card. Fixing where I messed up. Oh, again, it's a hot and muggy one, so this hot glue is going to take forever to cool. But yeah, this is going to be the last live stream of building this because I'm pretty much done building it. At least this section of it. The next steps are painting, and I'm going to go through and paint it. And I might live stream it. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but today I just wanted to do. I do want to do like a live stream, and I'll announce it so that anybody who wants to stop in. Maybe I'll do a couple of them. After it's completely built and painted, so that people can hop in and chat me up on how I did it, ask me any questions, that type of thing. But for now, I just wanted to fix a few things on these two boards that I experienced by getting to play a game on it, which is always recommended. I would say try to play a game on your terrain piece if you can, just to get a feel of its ups and downs, whether you got the pathing right on it, that whole thing. I'm pretty sure I have the chat on too, so if you got any questions now, feel free to holler them out. Hope you are all having a wonderfully nice and muggy day as I am. This technique is relatively simple, so I should be able to bust through it pretty quick. So I'm just doing 45-degree cuts on the paper straws and gluing them to this corrugated plastic card. And I'm going to texture it real good, so I'm not worried about any nasty spills or anything. I will try to always knock down my hot glue. I feel like that helps quite a bit. So we're going to check that. That looks great. Is this going to fit right here? This is. just a little bit more. There we go. Cut me a little piece for the other side. Right, so that's all squared up. So now I do gotta trim this. So don't forget. Still looking good? Yeah, we're on there. So now I just want to make myself some holes here to strengthen that. It looks like I will only need 3 of them, because that back corner is just weird, and it's going to be mostly supported by this anyways, so these legs are mostly for show. But if that's the case, we might as well do something interesting with it. So three of similar height. So I'm going to go ahead and get this hopefully glued on to the right level, and then prop it up with these other 2 . Alright, well, I'm going to glue that back in first because it's going to be the biggest pain in the butt. So alright, let's see about in here. Cool. Pretty square. Looks relatively square. You guys actually have a better view than I do. Try to use the camera to square it up. Well, I was going to put another one here, but it runs into this piece right here. Do at the end. I could do a middle one, but I think maybe I'll just do a cross-section one, or an angled piece. So I'll just start by putting my 45-degree cut on here, and then my measurement will be a little bit more decent. Slide that in there. I'm not kind of by off the cuff, seat of the pants type of organic builder, as I like to say. So I'm not going to take precise measurements or even make precise angle cuts. That's just how I roll. If that kicks up your OCD or your ADHD or something, I apologize. but it is funny to watch me mess up over and over. So you got that. What up, Durzen? Thank you, Rot Pop. Yo, you going down to the studio today, Durzen? I don't know. I thought maybe. I'll actually have to check now. I thought something was going on today, but maybe I'm totally mistaken. It wouldn't be the first time. I'll have to check, and unfortunately, as you know, I stream from my phone, so I don't know what's going on. Right now, I'm here building Necromunda terrain, but pretty good. Can dig it. Adds a nice. It definitely adds another layer, like even from exiting the ladder here. You can, move to here, and then that brings us back into. If you look at the red numbers, that brings us back into our, close to 3-inch. So even if you're playing a game that's relatively strict with vertical movement, you still have a chance to, climb that. Thanks, Dirge, for figuring that one out for me. So yeah, actually, the only thing that I need to do is put a little texture on this. I'm gonna back you up so you guys can kind of see. I'm gonna be definitely gonna messing with stuff. Sorry. So yeah, pretty good with this one. Just got to put a little bit of texture on this now. There is a couple things I would like to do on the other one. Before I jump over there, I'm going to make sure I got the hot glue all good on this. Yeah, right in that spot over that thing where you basically had to move anyways. So I figured like putting a platform there would be good plan. That's all I was really going to do for this one. I did think about putting another wrecked floor here, like even just a chunk of wrecked floor to ease that up and down thing. But I do like occasional dead end like this. There's enough up and down that you're not going to get stuck, but at the moment I'm going to try to use this more as like a platform off, which is why I'm going to build a bunch of walkways. This one, the only thing I really noticed is that like if you're coming at it from this side or this side, you kind of don't have any ladders or anything. Like there's no way to climb up this, and this is look at our stick of measuring, 4 inches. So that's a pain. And unfortunately, like this side's a little bit better. There's some space I could put a ladder or something, but on this side we're just kind of SOL. So I was thinking we're gonna do. Oh, sorry, that was really loud. Maybe another length chain. I was thinking here, trying to get up this, like the front of it, right? So there definitely needs There you go. So I'm thinking chain back here on this one, ladder on the other side because there is a gap, and then maybe ladder in the front so that that platform is accessible, because if we weren't playing such a game that was so lenient on movement, that would have been a very difficult thing. So I'm just going to take the wire snips. Bend this open a little bit. And hook that other chain to it. Oh, oh, oh. Stay. Okay. I'm right-handed, so I just switch hands. And I'm just gonna crimp this back down, and bam, that's chained there. Like, I don't have to use any glue or nothing. I can just live there. So just a little snip. Perfect. So there's one way up. So we solved that. Once you are to this platform, you're good. So that does, similar to that other piece, like I would like walkways to come in, you know, and I'll build some here in just a minute to represent, you know, how I'm going to cover all those spots. So I don't necessarily know about one in the front. I'm thinking just a small one, because the other one's in the very back, right? So on the opposite end, one like right here. Now I cleaned up my desk, workspace, and now I can't find anything, so you'll have to bear with me while I try to figure out what the heck I did with these right here in front of me. So I don't know, the straws might be too big for this one, so we might have to go these are, what do they sell these as? These are like lollipop sticks, I think. Cocktail sticks, maybe. So you probably seen me make these before with the paper straws. This time I'm just going to do it with the cocktail stick. All that means is that I don't have quite a circumference to stick to, which means the glue is going to be more apparent. So it's really easy to get this overwhelmed with wood glue. But again, as long as you knock it down, it doesn't look bad, it just adds texture. It would appear only 2 are going to fit on this stick. I'm not going to need much more than that anyways. I'm not even going to need that much. So get this other stick on here. Good. ahead and just mark right where it is. It looks like it's right at the top of this. Use some snips to cut that. Super easy. Right, like a little Nurgle guy to glue right into here so the light is shining out and it's silhouetted. Oh. Oh, I definitely have one of those too. What kind of, like a little Nurgling? You need a Nurgling for a land speeder? I definitely have a Nurgling for a land speeder. But I might have a Nurgling for right in here too. I was thinking about that last night when we were playing. That there should be like little things peeping out of that. So, lamb, that looks good. I want to do some details here. So we're gonna keep whittling away this Lego piece. I think we need very much, so I'm going to try to just use these little tabs from, I don't know, a leaf from a Lego thing that I like the way to look. I'm going to try to square it up with the snips, which worked. That will work. They're not going to stay there very well. Can we have something else that I can make it better? Better. Oh, I like that. Okay. So we square this out. We're going to move these on. Yeah, I was thinking at least rats, right? Like at least get some rats in there. I wish I had like an old rat skin scout model. Put it back there. Okay, so we got our little tabs on there. And I'll probably just hot glue this in place and then I'm gonna hit it with some wood glue and texture. So put a couple blobs in the bottom. Couple blobs right there. Bam. Perfect. Okay, so I think that's good then. You got a ladder up this side and you got a ladder up that side. So the next issue is walkways. So I'm going to keep using this. And I'm going to say what? 2 inches? 2-inch wide walkways. They'll end up a little bit bigger because the piping on the sides of them. But we're just going to do a test piece right here. see how it looks, see how I like it. Square up the sides a little bit. Don't cut towards yourself like I was just doing. Good way to cut yourself. I'm amazed I didn't actually. So, oh look, it's like I measured that or something. I didn't measure that. Blam. So, that was pretty easy. The fact that I had that piece almost the exact size of these straws. So there's one. There's two. So blam. That's pretty simple, easy walkway. That looked boring as expletive, as something very boring. That's just boring as a sheet of card. So we need to figure something else out for that. And I was thinking this might actually save me for that because it's really easy to cut. Just kind of feeling like I might just be able to do that, and then maybe a little bit of some EVA foam strips to seal it up, or even another straw. We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna start getting myself a cut from this. Tack the ends of it down. Stay. Right, all right. I mean, that looks better right there. Not quite there yet. So, I think through some strips of EVA. We're going to see how that looks. Probably going to need 3 of them. Okay. Yeah, good. So, this is a test run for this. I'm actually going to start with these end pieces, and before I do that, square up these paper straws just a little bit, because it's not the exact length. Glue on the end piece. Same over here. We're just gonna let this cool down for a second because it's too so muggy and hot in here that things aren't cooling down very quickly. So take a pause for the cause. What do you think? You good? Still walking. Okay. So I'm gonna do the end pieces first. And we'll just super wing it here. I'm just gonna glue this on, glue this on, not measure it at all. So here we go. Screw this all up because of it. So be it. Oh, still not long enough, so I'm going to do another piece relatively in the center here. Relatively in the center, I said. Okay, cut that piece off. Now we're gonna just do the border. We're gonna do it the same way, all willy-nilly, no cut before measuring, just gluing it on here. And then cutting it to fit. part of the reason I can do that is that this terrain that I'm building is supposed to look a little beat up. So if I wreck a corner of this, it's not going to look bad. So keep tugging, just cruising right along, chugging right along. The other good way about doing this is that I'm not trying to pull the piece to get to fit. Whereas if I was doing the whole long piece, I might be pulling it, and this stuff is so elastic that you'll like pull it and it'll slowly pull itself back as it cools. So not bad. That didn't take me too long. What, 5 minutes? When I was talking, I did have to concentrate there for a second. And that's, I mean, it's not bad. It's definitely would make an easy platform. The only reason I left these pegs on here is that I do think it would be an easy way to make barricades, or also platforms. Maybe put magnets in there if you were planning on like building like a structure where you wanted to be able to move platforms around. This technique could use that. You could even have just slotted holes that these slid into, but our purpose, we're going to take these off. And there we have it. So now let's bring this in. Platform apart, right? Just a walkway. But now I need like 100 more of these, right? Because you want them all over, and you want them in varying sizes. And thanks, Foible War Games. Thanks for hanging out with me. So I'm just working on finishing up a few details of my Mordheim board. This is a prototype of a build for walkways. I kind of want to see if I can add a little bit to this. I might not take them all to this level of detail, but I'm going to add, just to see if I can add a little bit more detail. I have another idea. Arg. Here you are. Okay, so zip ties are a thing, right? Like, if you go like this with these super small zip ties, some of these paper straws, you can piping or conduit zip tie, that very effective shape right there. But I'm not necessarily interested in that so much. Although I have made them, and you know what works even better is there's these plastic tubes that are for gutters. They're for the screw that holds your gutter on your house, but it keeps it from smashing. It's like this plastic tube that keeps the yeah. Anyways, you can get them packs of hundreds of them for not that expensive from a hardware store. So that's one of my favorite things for like big piping. Although I'm out of it now, right now. This would be effective piping. My only issue with it is, I mean, I guess that's going to give you cover if you're standing, just on the other side of it. You could do more of these. In fact, you could probably do like 3 bundles of 3 stacked on top of each other. Might be a cool way to use that as an industrial terrain, but that's not what I'm going to use it for. I just want this end right here. So it's a cool conduit piece or foundation for a platform or whatever you wanted, right? But I'm going to use these. This is a texture piece from the zip tie. So how many can I get out of it? Probably get 2 out of each one, so I'll try to just put 4 bands. And the reason I really like using this grate, I'll bring it as close as I can, this grate, is because if you get it relatively squared, and I'm just talking relatively, we ain't talking no perfect, in sync with the existence of natural order kind of squared. We're just eyeballing it. Then you can kind of square everything else to it because it has a nice grid formation. Try to produce a few of these because okay. So now I'm just going to try to match the other side. Add some. In fact, I might just, because I have 2 left over, might just put a 3rd one in there. So yeah, it's an added detail, but that isn't that, like, it doesn't, I guess it doesn't do as much as visually as it does gameplay wise. If you put these little slats going this way, then if you have the change in elevation, your dudes can kind of hook there so that they don't slide right away, as opposed to leaving this smooth or only like half one piece at at halfway. So, yeah, that's the best way to do it is just some little strips. And if you use zip ties like in builds, like this type of stuff, then you'll always end up. I mean, I just use them all up, but you'll always end up with these chunks that you can use for texture. So, I'm going to have to build a bunch more of these. There's one of them. I have been trying to keep my live streams about an hour long. That was also when I was doing them every single day, which this is kind of the end of this build for a moment until I get it spray painted and ready to actually get other paint on. And when I do that, I'm probably going to paint it live. I mean, that seems like an interesting thing, right? And I might invite other people to come paint it with me live, just to get it done quicker, ease the burden of the giant amount of terrain I have to paint. I do like painting terrain. I'm not saying that it's not a bad thing, but as far as surface space goes, I have a lot of surface space to cover. And when I built the Mordheim table, I kind of painted them in twos as I built them. So I'd like build two of them, and then while I was working on the third one, I painted the other two up. So here I have built everything for this part of the table. Without painting any of it, which is a it's kind of new. Usually I put a lot of paint. Usually I just honestly prime in between working on it. But I have been trying to step away from that because I feel like it's a little bit more, you can see what the person has built it out of better before the prime. So I'm just going to produce me a little pile of EVA foam strips, and then I'm going to cut me some plastic card, and we're going to bang out a few of these. So I'm just going to measure a few of these out. Just going to make some copies. So I have had a few different ideas with this, and I am interested in how you all build your walkways. You play Necromunda, you play a skirmish game, sci-fi skirmish game, or even fantasy where it's like in the trees or walkways or anything, how you build yours. I'm very interested. So we got our platforms. We got our straws. More hot glue. So we're just gonna go and the straws on the just on one side and let it cool, so then we don't have to worry about it falling off. You're just hopping in and you wonder what I'm building. I'm building a walkway for Necromunda, which is a tabletop skirmish battle game, right? We all know and love it, or we know it at least. Okay. Keep going. Get the straws all on these sides of this. More straws, more Snickers, more Coke. So we are just going to try to crank through this real quick, because that is how mass production of this. Usually I am cranking on some Hive Scum podcast and chuckling to their antics while I do this. If you haven't listened to them, I'll definitely check it out. So that's pretty good, pretty easy. I don't think that piece was perfectly square because some of the straws are like perfectly in line and some of them aren't, but that's fine. Square up the edge real quick. That right there and not even touch it again. Just move on to the next one. Let it cool down. Let that hot glue do its thing. When you're trying to mass produce pieces, you kind of have to be like, step away, move to the next one instead of fiddle with the problem. Because hot glue can be fiddly. Again, I'm just squaring these paper straws, which I use to support the corrugated plastic card. I'm just continuing to glue some of what would be, I guess, the fascia board around these. I don't know what the Necromunda equivalent of fascia board is, but to me it just looks like it's made out of piping. Once I'm done, now let's flip it. It should be cooled. So I just move this back to this side. And if you are in dire need of walkways or platforms type of thing, just what I built like right here in a few minutes, just one of those could suffice. You don't have to go, and put all that texture on there. So that is a thing. Very easy to build, I feel, and pretty easy resource to find too. The paper straws I just ordered, you could use regular plastic straws for this. Prefer the paper, they're easier to work with. And then it's that, what did I call it? Corrugated plastic card? I don't really know what it's called. I suppose I should look it up. But this was for like some strawberry event that the town had. Or a grocery store had or something, I think. But they're awesome. They let me take it home and build terrain with it. So, pretty easy, pretty simple. Cut this screen real quick. That's what this stuff is actually relatively easy to work with, except that when it's in a big chunk, then it's kind of a pain. So I'm just going to build another one real quick. I want to try like a variant of this. To do that, I need to trim this down just a little bit. Little better. that's a little tedious, but it wasn't for that one, and it's because I think I cut this one too big from the beginning, and I cut that one too small from the beginning, and then it just filled in the space with the EVA foam. Whereas this one, I had to whittle down. So, note to self, that's not the most enjoyable. Okay, so tack this stuff. And I shouldn't really worry because this stuff is really easy to cut. So I just cut that piece right off. So this is, I wanted to do this, so this is a little bit more lined up with the edge. So if you did just want to do a screening type of thing, you could. The only problem with it is it kind of makes a super smooth texture. So I did have an idea of trying to do it without EVA foam, and this is going to be my idea. Let's add a couple more straws. Ruffling up that glue. Oh, I don't know if you can see, but instead of having like a blob of wood glue sticking out there, I have some kind of granular looking things. It's going to look fine when I put texture on it. So that's what I mean when I say knock down the wood, or knock down the hot glue. Wood, did I call it wood glue? I didn't mean to. I meant hot glue. Same thing again. So now we got a little bit better of a platform, and if I wanted to, so my idea with this was running wires here to other ones so that you could kind of set up like janky wired together walkways, like more than one of these tilted across your battlefield. The only issue I have is that I don't like there not being anything right here. This is very smooth. It's like a slide, but you see it tumbles, but it definitely doesn't slide as easy with those. So I'm going to grab some more zip ties, make myself one of these silly little things. Yes, agreed. Or even like another idea, like that's a pretty easy and structural component. If I made a couple of those around a dowel, that's going to be really strong. So I could build, something that had loops on them and do like eye hook loop, hooks that come out of this that fit on to loops that stick up from a platform, so that you put, these around your battlefield, put a weight in the bottom, something like that. I have done similar things to that, and they are cool. They're very fiddly when you're playing with them. because to make it all modular like that, you have to, they have to come apart at some point. So I do try to line the zip ties up when I do this, at least, so it does look like some sort of wrapped cargo or piping. Then we're just gonna snip it down. Now that you got more than one of them, they definitely can, start. You can start up easily a pile, run some balsa wood or popsicle sticks in between them, stack more on top of them. Have a stack of 6 high or 3 high of this. That would be a nice barricade, right? Very industrial barricade. So I'm just gonna use the cut off pieces of, lost that one. Cut off pieces of the zip ties that have the little texture, and I'm going to try to put the texture side up. And I might go through and I might do each of these walkways a little bit different. Don't actually know at the moment. I was just planning on figuring out a way to easily make walkways, and I had an idea in my head, and I can see that I can basically make a frame and then decorate that however I want, and they can all be relatively similar but unique in their own way. So that's cool. I kind of dig that. And also, just to keep in with materials, I am going to use a little bit of EVA foam. Just so it does match the rest of my table. Bam. Got a little squiggly. What's going on? That's fine. I don't even really care. I'm gonna put texture all over it. But there you go. There's 2 unique platforms. Super easy built. This one is way strong because it has so many straws on it. Yeah, bam, done. I do have other ones that I'm gonna build, and I probably will keep working on them. But it's been a little bit over an hour, and all I really have left to do with these is the fiddly walkways, so that's not really a thing. I'm probably going to try to get them primed over the weekend, so that next week I can start painting, and hopefully I'll be live streaming that painting. But other than that, this is probably going to be my last really live stream on building this particular table. I might do more Necromunda stuff if there's interest in that. I do love buildings. I'm also thinking about looking into commissions if anybody wants buildings done. So that's another thing. But other than that, thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I will catch you next time. Like I said, I'll stream on Monday, whether or not I'm able to get all of the board primed. I might have to prime only a little bit. It matters how much time I have to prime. Anyways, thanks for chilling with me. It was great hanging out with y'all. You all have a good one. Peace.